The Silver Net. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The Silver Net by Vintras. Hope is a net of silver thread cast in the swirling stream of life, where prey with scales of gold and red is ever hidden, ever rife. Put oft upon the rocky bed, the net is rended in the strife. Thus 'tis we often toil in vain, yet never weary of our dream, and looking fondly in the stream, we mend our net and try again. End of poem.
Vision by Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Mapstone. Great ships with spreading wings of dazzling white I see forever passing in the night, bearing away dead souls of men and women whom I meet each day, still living in the clay. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Alone by Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Mapstone. Evening made a violet darkness in the thickness of the wood. All was silent, all was still, and the man of many pleasures felt upon him steal a mood that was stronger than his will. In the sky each glowing star assumed a different coloured flame, but the flames they gave no light. He was cold at heart and weary, and a numbing sense of shame made him fearful of the night. Though alone he felt that hidden in the bushes and the trees many eyes were watching him. When he tried to move he wavered, and he fell upon his knees, and his sight with tears was dim. While he knelt he knew not how long, in the grass a bluebell glowed with light amid the dew. As he watched with straining eyes, from which the tears no longer flowed, the blue flower grew and grew. Vaguely human in its outline, half a flower, half a child, high now as his kneeling self. And the flower child bent to him with an impulse strange and wild, and he felt the little elf kiss his lips and heard it softly call him by his name in a voice unearthly sad. I'm your child, and I was born of your first love and born in shame. I am dead and she is mad. Something like a shudder shook the stately trees, the plants, the weeds, as the man rose up again. In the mystery of this wood, the leaves, the blossoms were the deeds, living deeds of mortal men. Pale he seized the fancy creature savagely and hurled it down, trampled it into the earth. Then he heard a woman's sobbing and the rustle of a gown, and he laughed, just sound, no mirth. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Betrothal by Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Mapstone. The steamer glided like a car of silver o'er the sea. Above, the dying worlds revolved, their dark and crumbling wrecks, dead as the groping shadows of our shipmates on the decks, all dead save you and me. And yet amid this lie 2 fates were sealed, 2 souls set free. Hands met and lips touched lips in rapturous spite of death and night. And lo, at once each ghost, each world was touched with life and light, kindled by you and me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. And There Was No More Sea by Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Mapstone. Revelation chapter 21 verse 1. The white-crested wave swirls by in the nights, with many a shriek and a moan. 'Tis the soul of a thief in its whirlpool plight, not water, but flesh and bone. And this soul is torn and rent by the reef, and the frantic waves they fight. For the milk-white blood this soul of a thief sheds on the rocks each night. And sinners laugh at the pangs and doles foretold in Holy Writ. But the beautiful waves are dead men's souls, and the sea is the bottomless pit. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Aspirations by Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Mapstone. O human dreams unrealizable, fire-tinged, germated, luring, damning dreams, born but to shame the everlasting soul, caged in its flesh-bound dungeon, dreams of beauty, growing to sinhood, fruits of seed thoughts, fallen in times primordial from the Godhead, sweet with almighty innocence, divine with ignorance of nakedness and form, to germinate on life's warm flesh and live in many purple passions. Such your dreams, O man, from Genesis to Revelation. The harlot and the harlequin are types of your desires. Her love is like his garb, motley and false. Then sweep your pantheons clean of these cobwebs in the crystal disk by which the hag philosophy slumbers. Behold the play. The nubile maiden seeks mad stars that dance at night in lonely wells. A withered pope mumbling his benediction, urbi et orbi, is absorbed the while with thoughts of Rome eternal, his by right, now lost to God and him because the king's. And so the peaceful blessing wavers, dies, ere it has even drifted o'er the town. Alas, then, for the world! A graceful girl, royal with the pageantry of silk and ermine, cursed with the name of highness, brow ablaze with diamonds, cutting deep into the skin, passes with dewy lips and swooning eyes, some stalwart soldier of her bodyguard. The young man slowly dying in a ward sees with the envious smile of bankrupt life. The pretty nurse who hovers round his bed with all life's restless rustle in her skirts. Oh, who shall ever sing, O tortured man, the Babylons of your imagination, the castles built on clouds, the women loved in thought, the frantic thirst for beauteous life, your wild despairs at every wreck, as death draws ever near to cool your red-hot soul for an eternity of peace. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In the Heart of a Rose by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by P.T. Bearden. As I strolled through the close, in the heart of a rose, I espied of a woman the figure divine, in a rose ruby-stained, as a chalice with wine. And the opening rose did her beauty disclose. Her red lips she unpraised to my lips, wove her arms round my neck, bound me fast with her spells and her charms. And this woman I chose from the heart of a rose, chose to share all my dreamland of love and of power, stole my soul, and imprisoned my soul in the flower. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Stranger by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Winnifred Assmann. Yes, I was Desdemona yesterday, she said to me a sudden, as we stood beside an antique vase of porphyry, gazing upon the swaying crowd below. Arms nervous, eastern eyes which flashed fierce fires, the coruscation of estival nights, glowing amid the all-encircling dark. These made my joy, the coiling hatred of the devil-snake my pain. I saw the twitching of Othello's hands, and died at 11:20. Tomorrow, in Verona, at a masque, I meet love's archetype, glorified beyond mere human manhood to Apollo's self, and I, this magnificent lover's love, shall be a maiden in her 14th year for just 3 hours. 'Tis thus I live, and hate, and love, and die, night after night, in a superb and shameless prostitution, leaving self in my wardrobe, a disguise, worn only in the daylight of the world, to hide these many souls. Ghosts born in gardens where the poet treads, resolve themselves into my being. Alone I merely stand in this death carnival, which you call life, a stranger. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Evolution by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Anthony Will. She rests among the roses red and gay, wrapped in the golden mantle of her hair, while in her eyes 2 mirrors, blue and fair, all girlhood's winsome charms and wonders play. Love to the shimmering sunbeams spreads his wings, and speeding through the skies with laughing eyes, comes to the rosy bower where beauty sighs, presses his lips upon her lips and sings, O symbol towering o'er our downward strife, in heaven born, like heaven immutable, gift of the dreamy spheres to grosser earth, wherein is shadowed forth tomorrow's birth, the unknown made to man attainable, love opening with a kiss the book of life. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Nocturne by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Anthony Will. The big cold moon and the red glow lights by the lines, the panting steam and the luggage cars, wending their fugue-like course through a wood of pines, and around the immutable stars. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The City of Anguish by Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. About the city clouds eternal hang, and pallid shadows wander through the mist. Who to the moaning tempest eager list? The night is eerie with the mournful clang of bells funereal. There is no name written upon this city's crumbling walls, and those who live within its cheerless halls are forlorn lovers of the goddess Fame. Tread gently, stranger, in this hallowed place, and if among the crowd perchance you meet some long-forgotten and once cherished face, say not a word, extend no hand to greet your friend. Grant him at least oblivion's grace. For pity's sake, be silent and retreat. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Magdalene by Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Anthony Will. Now she lay on the white marble flags, and her hair made a soft cloud of gold. Through the cloud here and there peeped the warm rosy skin, and her eyes were as dreams, dreamt in youth by a god, while her kiss-craving lips, red with love, haunted men. In her pallid despair, she had come from her palace. She knelt at my feet, and her tears as they fell burnt my flesh. Then she spoke, whispered sins music made like a nun's clinking beads. Magdalene, Magdalene, glowing shame of the world. Just a touch of my lips on her brow crimson tinged, and her head like a child's lay at rest on my breast. Lullaby, Magdalene, yours my kiss and my song. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Fable by Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Winnifred Assmann. They met beside a babbling stream, old Death, young Love. Dawn threw its ochre-tinted gleam through the leaves above. "Father, you look as sad as life," said Love to Death. "Boy, keep your taunts for human strife, nor waste your breath." He dipped his scythe in the crystal tide, shook off the spray. "If youth for work has too much pride, go on your way." Love bit the end of a blade of grass, and bending low, "Today you meet a pretty lass, dear Death, I trow." The mower chuckled, "She is fair, fair as a flower. I shall be rich with golden hair before an hour." Some girl whose lot it was to pine drowned in a pool, leaving her pale-faced babe to whine and grow a fool. No forlorn girl, no treacherous smiles of a passing churl. Her mother baffled all your wiles, and kept the girl stainless for me to bear above in the month of May. Made answer Death to the stripling Love in the dawn of day. Each mortal mother and mortal Eve, they play our game, and we might sleep from morn till eve, 'twould be the same. Your tale, good sir, is very sad, but hardly new. Old Death sat down beside the lad. The tale is true. The house is near. Around the door vine branches creep. But ere the wanderer could say more, he fell asleep. So now the saucy imp was blithe, holding his breath. The sable cloak and glittering scythe he took from Death, and Laugh gaily skipped away upon his quest. He pushed the door with vine leaves gay, the ghostly guest. The mother led him to the room with curtains blue, where the girl was waiting for her doom, and left the two. He sat him down beside the lass, and took her hand, She smiled and thought that in the glass would stop the sand. But he kissed her lips, the pretty lad, he kissed her eyes. When came the mower grim and sad to claim his prize, having at last from his trance awoke, he found instead his scythe wrapped in his sable cloak on the silken bed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Confession by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. I love, she said, a child of Eve. I love to love. Loving, loved, my heart content. I soar above all other hopes in life and all the fears of death. I love my beauty and my innocence I give to my beloved and laugh and am content to live and sing my passion with the nightingales and thrushes. I love, have all your human dogma's power, closer to bind my thoughts to him. God give the flower its perfume and the bird its song, and me my love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Mystic Garden by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. Many colored suns diffused their gorgeous rainbows through the air, o'er a garden strange and fair. Trees and flowers on every side extended far and far away, like vast armies in array. As I walked within this garden, where the earth was mixed with bone, my foot stumbled o'er a stone. And the stone in twain was cloven, and a lurid flame was kindled, which arising slowly mingled with the suns which were revolving in the glory of their noon, through the skies of burning June. On I strolled, and saw a lily which was whiter than the snow. Kissed the lily, bending low. As my lips devoutly touched it, lo, it vanished into space. Rose a woman's haloed face, where the lily had been basking in the multicolored day, just a vision, gold and gray, and I knew it was the Virgin by the pity in her eyes, azure tinted from the skies. While I gazed upon the visage, while I wondered at its pain, 'twas a flower once again. Then I turned me from the lily to a fragrant briar tree, bloom bespattered, fair to see. Cold a rose, and in its place beheld the thorn-crowned Saviour's head, the sad brow bedewed with red, with the lips so kind and pallid, parted in their constant prayer. Then, upon the perfumed air, played his voice. When death, the angel, touches human clay as you touch the rose, then God anew, free, arises from the dust of mortal man, as I arose from the humble briar rose, as my mother from the lily, as the spirit from the stone, the first woman from the bone. And the vision slowly faded, and I fell upon my knees, mid the flowers and the trees, crossed my hands and bent my forehead, doing reverence all the day to the God within my clay. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ishtar by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by Ron Altman. The vanity of art rebuking nature, such she, whose whirlpool eyes, where eddying mysteries seethe and clash, and false red lips make loveliness sublime of human clay. And men forget the altar, and their vows when they have felt the glamour of her gaze, or held her hand, or touched her lips. Ah, listen to the treacherous music. Hear her voice, awakening slumbering echoes in the soul's abyss. Her silver song as she unclasps her girdle with a smile, and having reaped the evil, scarcely leaves enough of whiteness or of righteousness to robe a bishop or a pope. Her laugh has rocked wild cities to their ruin. The gods, when banished from their temples, left this parting bane, this blue-eyed sin, this Ishtar, pallid eponym of lust, that when we meet her in our squares and streets, bartering her beauty, we may yet recall the graven images of Babylon. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Illusion by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. The friends throw rice and confetti, wave handkerchiefs and hail love's triumph as away the well-appointed brougham hies. The husband is a man of wealth, and old and sad and pale. The youthful bride has full red lips and mocking violet eyes. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Ring by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. But a tiny ring of gold, just a link, wear it and your heart is sold. Strange to think, till it glitters on your hand, you are free. Shall I cast it on the sand, in the sea? Which was Judas' greater sin, kiss or gold? Love must end where sales begin, I am told. We will have no ring, no kiss, to deceive. When you hear the serpent hiss, think of Eve. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Idol by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. I am an idol made of bronze, and sit within a silver shrine, attended by a shaven bonze, in a temple made of serpentine. I sit thus through the burning day, through nights of gold-tipped indigo, while at my feet the people pray, and lithesome virgins come and go. But not for me their sidelong glance, as reverently they wave their hands, for watching their religious dance, a youthful blue-eyed shepherd stands. And I, the idol wrought in bronze, to be that youth of low degree, would sacrifice my shaven bonds, my temple, my eternity. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Tintagel by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by Altman. I sat within Tintagel's fabled walls, amid the scattered stones of human works crumbling upon the granite mound of God, as life upon the rock eternity. And sitting there, I heard two voices speak, the busy ocean and the slothful past, They whispered good King Arthur's magic name. The past was sad. The heartless ocean laughed. Poor king, he lived for many happy years in his illusion, till all knowledge came soul-stirring to this ruler of mankind, who only knew the lying half of man. One blast of heavenly fire will kill the oak. One touch of knowledge broke this kingly heart. And so he donned his armor, took his sword Excalibur, and put his helmet on, and fought his way to heaven, told his God how wicked men had ridden through his dream, played with the devil at his table round, their souls for stakes. He told of all their sins, the treacherous kiss of queenly Guinevere, eyes swimming with the sight of Lancelot, how Merlin, hoary with the frost of years, in Vivian's lovely arms one day betrayed his lifelong gathered lore of elfin charms, how Gawain lied, how knightly vows were broken as readily as lances in a tourney, and how these reckless Christian paladins were thieves of honor, and the peerless dames all sin and loveliness. And God was silent. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
But in her eyes there is no light, by Louis Vintras, read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. You see her in a ballroom, at the play, and in the street you meet her every day, pale as the pearls she wears about her neck. Silent she sits at table by your side, smiling she walks with you at eventide, pale as the pearls she wears about her neck. She haunts your thoughts by day, your dreams by night, but in her wondering eyes there is no light, no more than in the pearls about her neck. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Roses 2, a dialogue by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by
ShrimpPhish, as Julie, 17.
and by
Joy Dunn as Oriel, 16.
and narrated by Brian Fullen. Any place, any time.
Julie, I have a secret for your ear.
What have you, little cousin, with such things as secrets?
Tut, a girl has many thoughts. She knows are better kept.
Yet longs to tell.
Yes, pretty secrets have a double joy, the keeping and the breaking, and I think they're like old sakes, more valued when they're broken.
Julie eagerly.
Yes, darling, I agree. So?
It is hard, awfully hard to break. The story runs something like this. The giver was a man.
Giver of what?
Ah, do not interrupt, for if at once I told you what he gave, where would the story be? We'll call him he. The abstract always has a secret charm. The other person, she, you see, was I, that is...
Do not explain.
It might mislead.
I like historians with imagination and truth when she has draped her nakedness.
It was last evening. You remember, dear, how fine it was last evening, how the stars...
Oh, never mind the stars.
Poor little things, and yet they're very troublesome, I grant, prying upon this world of ours at night, just when good people want to say their prayers or gather dewy roses in the garden.
Sweet, are not afraid to go alone, Rose gathering when the fairies are abroad?
I did not say I was alone.
So he
Was there?
Ariel producing a rose which she has held concealed.
And see, Julie, the lovely rose he gave me, but I cannot quite remember his words. Ah, yes, he said the rose was love's dear symbol, and was made to be a gift from those who love to those they love, that I was beauty. Do you catch his meaning, dear?
I think the gentleman was quite explicit,
One cannot be too careful in such matters.
especially with a stranger. And a man.
Lothario is not a stranger.
Ah, Lothario indeed. So it was he?
Julie, you should say Mister, if you please.
Traitors their titles forfeit.
He is not a traitor. See how fair his rose is kept, and symbols die, they say, when vows are broken.
Julie taking a faded rose from her bosom.
True, this poor rose he gave me 3 days since is withered.
Are you sure he gave it to you?
Ariel sadly.
These roses look like sisters.
Merely cousins. Yes, he gave it to me.
Julie sighs.
3 days is all a man's love and a rose's life can last.
But he swore that I was his only love.
That's what they always say.
How do you know?
My brother told me so.
It is too bad. He stole a kiss.
That's what they always do.
How do you know?
My brother told me so.
I think that men are knaves.
Maybe they are. Yet, Ariel, 'tis not perhaps their fault, for women keep the goodness to themselves. Come, we must not waste time on faded flowers, nor lose our tempers on a faded heart. We'll give these rosy petals to the wind,
They throw the flowers away.
lest it should take our thoughts and toy with them, when comes Lothario with honeyed words to claim his pledge of you or me. Will send the swain to parley with the mocking wind. Tell him that since he makes a sport of love, 'tis wrong to run 2 hares at once. Now, sweet, let's go and listen to the piping birds, and hear their music, being tired of words.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
At Your Feet by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. A beggar sat on the temple's floor, gazing around at the pious crowd that knelt before the cross of gold on high amid the perfumed smoke. Scanning the marble pillars bright, the costly silks and glittering gems upon the priesthood in the choir, and all the swaying silver lamps that carried stars of ruby fire. Dreamers and Pharisee fools, the heavens are only colored void. Christ is living at your feet, beneath each beggar's loathsome rags. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Proposal by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Yes, I'm your brother, not by birth or any tie of earth. Your brother, well, we can't undo the past, because kind Mother Nature cast 2 minds into one mold. Do not scorn, storm, or scold, that you a girl and I a man should be alike. I as it were your travesty, of course is very strange. We're the same work, with here and there some trifling change. You are deluxe on vellum, in the pride of silver clasps. I in rough hide, bound anyhow. But since 'tis so, then let us bow, accept the scheme, live, sigh, laugh, hope, and dream. Watch the play, grim or gay, side by side, you and I, till we die. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A River Impression by Louis Ventras. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Lawley. White sails, fair women, and a silver swan, boats gliding to the cadence of the oars, with here and there the echo of a song, and white-clad youths, and the majestic stream, in all its state of golden-spangled motion, deep as the silent mystery of a dream, for ever hastening to the ocean. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Triumph by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by Ron Altman. 1. Just for a glance from her eyes as they smiled, mocking and wild, you would have left all your dreams, all your gold you would have sold, just for a word or a whisper, your soul parted or whole. 2. Yet a poor price when the devil, but hush, think of the blush, rosy as dawn and as shy on her face. It was a race 'twixt you and me, you so young, nigh a child, I man and wild. 3. Envy of you was my life for a spell. Now all is well. Thunders were useless which did not crush you. Wicked I grew, till she was mine, till I lived in the skies, kissing her eyes. 4. King of her love now I reign and I sing. Ne'er was a king equal to me when my head on her breast softly I rest, thinking of you with a poisoned love dart deep in your heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Violets by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by ShrimpPhish. Mignon, you love the myrtle and the rose, the lily, all the flowers which grace the close of queenly nature's Eden. Love them well, for there are mysteries more than man can tell, deep hidden in their perfumed censers dear, and music unknown to the human ear, in their harmonious scales of varied hues, crimson imperial and eastern blues, emerald and sheeny ores and glittering steel, still more for those who have a soul to feel the breath of love which is of beauty born, bright flowers bejeweled with the dew of morn. As you are sweet and pure, and God, I trow, took of the newborn violet's deepest glow to make the wonder of your tender eyes. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Eroteme by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by Brian Fullen. We hold that love is a gift divine, then why are kisses sold? Oh, is there then no earthly shrine, but men defile with gold? Maiden, your 16 springs were worth the jewels of a regal crown. Why did you hate your humble birth? Why sin for a silken gown? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Eye by Louis Vintras, read for LibriVox by Brian Fullen. 1. When I was King Shalmaneser, and wielded the might of Azure in Nineveh over 3,000 years ago, one day I sat upon my throne in the hall of the 100 granite bulls, alone with my thoughts. Unnoticed by me, the waning day deepened the shadows all around in the hall of the 100 granite bulls. It had come to pass that, the day before, I had caused a man to be done to death, whose name was Chelech. 'Twas murder, sure enough, for though I was the king, and his life by right belonged to me to spare or take, yet it was murder, for I had him strangled just because his wife loved him and I loved her. And now, as I sat upon my throne in the hall of the 100 granite bulls, my gaze fell on my shield, which lay on the flags at my feet, my shield of toughened bullock hide, covered with plates of beaten gold, which softly glowed in the growing darkness. And there in the midst of the shield I saw a living human eye looking at me, a veiled, unpleasant, sickly eye, the eye of Chelech. 2. Now yester evening, as I came across the marshes, with my gun under my arm and a brace of ducks slung over my shoulder, a strange thing happened. You know how dull the weather was. Clouds gray and saffron hung low down, quickening the coming darkness. Being still some way from home, I sat me down beside a pool on the fallen trunk of a tree to fill my pipe. And sitting there it chanced I gazed into the dark, deep water and saw distinctly in the pool a living eye looking at me, a veiled, unpleasant, sickly eye, the eye of Chelech, the man I had caused to be done to death over 3,000 years ago, when I was King Shalmaneser, and wielded the might of Azure in far-famed Nineveh, because his wife loved him, and I loved her. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Shadows by Louis Vintras, read for LibriVox.org by Anthony Will. From the towering opal globes in the street, the crude white light streams down. On him, blue-eyed, on her, with hair like a flaming golden crown. His cigarette glows to a crimson star as he slowly paces, while, beside him, the woman smiling shivers in her silks and laces. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Palace of Desires by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by Altman. I entered through a pillared portico, a stately hall with walls of burnished bronze, where 20 different colored lambent flames in separate slender spirals hung aloft, shedding a subdued stellar brilliancy, kind as a discreet caress to the eyes. Here maidens danced, while other maidens sang, or stirred to sensuous music golden strings caught like a fairy web 'tween ivory bows. The graceful cadence of their waving arms invited me to follow them. Indeed, 'twas no unpleasant bidding. Thus I reached, with careless dalliance, a marble court ablaze with violet fire, where flowers shone like jewels, where perfume-laden fountains played and birds with human voices sang, each note a charm-born breath of passionate suggestion. I halted, wondering, for this marvelous place was paved with sharp-edged rubies. Yet the birds gave forth such dulcet notes, the maidens smiled so winningly. I bruised and cut my feet. Surely the promised joy must be supreme. Teeth set, hands clenched, I dragged my steps along. An icy sweat oozed out of every pore and clogged my hair, but still I struggled on. What goal once won was ever worth the winning that has not wrung the life-blood from our being? At last, the farther end was reached. Then some mysterious force asunder drew two heavy purple curtains. I beheld a lofty chamber, white as virgin snow, and bathed in soft and even whiter light. Here, on a silk-draped throne of sapphire, lay two women naked. Ah, such loveliness, once to behold, were worth 1,000 pangs. Their faces and their figures visions were, such as dear youth alone can conjure up in solitary secrecy of thought. Their eyes had hues unknown to human sight, the hues of everlasting rainbows spanning the far-off interspaces of the worlds. And one was fair with wondrous woven hair by godlike fingers spun from that first gleam of perfect light, which, shooting through the spheres, rended of old the primal darkness, changed the cold revolving orbs to living worlds. But no less proudly did her sister bear the regal mantle of her sable tresses, which fell about her perfect shoulders, o'er the curving marble splendor of her hips. Again the guiding maidens urged me on, who little wanted urging. Now the ground was soothing in its softness. Had there been iron flags red hot, I would have ventured still, for they had seen me, and, awaiting, lay upon their throne in rosy nakedness. Their glorious eyes were heavy-veiled with love, their lips were parted, waiting for my lips to close them with a kiss. Their arms outstretched offered the havens of their breasts to me. So I had won, not labored all in vain. This was my minute, wherein life is crowded. The wild, triumphal ebbing of my blood elated me. The magic of success gave me back youth with all its strength and dreams. But then a something quivered 'neath my feet, so cold and loathsome that I started back, and with misgiving eyes explored the ground. Ah me, the soothing softness I had felt after the torture of the jeweled pavement was made of human bodies interlaced, dead men and women, strong and young and white, with the weird whiteness of this common grave. And then I knew I stood at last within the secret chamber of that fatal palace, wrought of the mad desires of men, and paved with mad despairs, the dread Gehenna where the two arch-harlots, Fame and Fortune, dwell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lineage by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by Brian Fullen. 1. A tea-room girl, she carries a tray through the day. Of consciousness there is in her face hardly a trace, beyond a droop of the lip or lift of the brows in thanks for a generous gift. She is reserved, indifferent, plain, yet with a something in her air which causes you to look again at the wealth of her red bronze hair. 2. Alone in her darkened room at night, robed in white, sitting for hours in a high-backed chair, stately and fair, with flashing eyes and lips proudly curled, in thought she's queen of a beautiful world, projecting through a mental prism her dream of power and pride of race, the outcome of some royal atavism, impossible to trace. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Earth Regained by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Down, deep down the damned are delving, delving at their prison walls, ever delving, till at times the walls give way, and the shrieking, hissing spirits through some old volcanic fissure upwards scramble to the light, free to walk the earth again, loosing in their eager flight hell's liquid fire upon the world. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Envoi by Louis Vintras. Read for LibriVox by Brian Fullen. Let it linger, linger in your ear, what I have said. Let it linger, linger with you, dear, when I am dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of The Silver Net by Louis Vintras.